So I heard you wanted to speak on a few things today. The first subject would be guns,
Obviously, everything's important today,
of course.
but with the government murdering citizens because they're carrying weapons, whether it's the citizens carrying the weapon or the government that's carrying the weapon, it doesn't matter.
No.
It's a gun.
Yeah.
Guns hurt people.
Yeah.
There is nothing defensive about a gun.
Yeah.
Because if you have a gun, if I'm protecting you and I've got a gun and somebody's about to shoot you, and I think, well, the only way I can save you is to shoot them, then I pull my gun and I shoot them, and the bullet goes by them or through them, and he'll kill somebody in the back. I killed that person.
Yeah.
Now, I was trying to save you by shooting somebody else.
Right.
Did I act in self-defense? Should I have been more concerned about the possibility of hurting somebody else than I was about you being hurt, or even me being hurt? I was judge, jury, and executioner on an instant.
Yeah.
Every police officer, every person in the military has to play that game every day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not fair to them.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as acceptable collateral damage.
Especially when other countries are so successful at doing policing without the use of
The example, Hamas
deadly weapons.
and the Israelis.
Yeah.
The Israelis have every reason to protect themselves from Hamas. But do they have the right in that self-defense to kill Palestinians who aren't part of Hamas? Now, their attitude is, it's the only way we can get to Hamas. No, it's not.
Yeah, I agree.
It's the only way they can think of getting to Hamas. And it's retribution because Hamas killed them. This is the same problem that Degen Awida had back in the early days with the Great Law of Peace. The villages would have somebody accidentally kill a member of their clan or their village. And so the only thing they could do is go out and kill the other person. And Degen Awida said, no, that's not right. We have to have another way to settle our differences than an eye for an eye, especially where too often there are people that are being killed that had nothing to do with what happened. They were collateral damage. We need to find a way to prevent collateral damage, and there is a way. There really is.
The Thunderdome with all the politicians in it.
Well, that's collateral damage again. The answer is, in fact, being practiced today in Minneapolis to a degree.
Yeah.
If we had a way of self-defense that wasn't killing the other party, if we could protect ourselves without the potential of collateral damage, that would be an answer. And I came up with something that I think might work. I call it COPS, Community Organized Protection System. Now, any society needs to learn to act as a community. We can't have this thing of neighbors not knowing neighbors.
Yeah.
Everybody within a proximity of each other are dependent on each other for something or another, whether it's directly or indirectly. So we should know our neighbors. And I have to admit, I'm as bad as anybody else. I recognize most of the people in my area, but I don't know them all. I don't hang out with them. I don't do things with them. And I would like to do more with them. Now, the Community Organized Protection System provides an opportunity to do that. And it's based on something that doesn't exist, but could exist quite easily. It would be about the size of an average telephone, cellular telephone. And the first thing it would do is it would be an electronic device that had a location indicator that would immediately send out a signal saying this unit is in this location, even what direction they were oriented in. Mm-hmm. And that signal would go to the cloud or a satellite or a local transmitter, and then that would then go to the authorities. Now, the authority in the local community might be the police. In a nation, it might be the federal government or the state government.
Mhm.
Or in a school, it might be the university administration. And it might be the enforcement authorities of any of those organizations, the campus officers, the local officers, the soldiers, and the military. So whenever that device goes on, the picture it's taken would be sent everywhere immediately that had reception of that, and the local police, other people in that area could all see exactly what the individual that had the device was seeing at that time,
Mhm.
which is what's going on in Minneapolis. When everybody's aiming their phones at the ICE agents and showing what they're doing, now there is nobody saying, well, this is my word versus their word, who's right, who's wrong. And nobody's right when somebody gets killed that shouldn't have been killed.
Mm-mm.
Everybody's wrong, including the person who got killed is going to have some part in it, maybe. But you know if you have the picture.
Mhm.
Now, that's the first thing. Communication is communication. C. Communication. We need to get the information out. Now, the second thing is we need to have a way that can help prevent the danger from becoming a real problem.
Mhm.
And the first thing you'd have on that device is a flash, just like a flash bulb in a camera, and it wouldn't just flash once. It would have a pattern that would be basically determined by testing and known by the unit itself in a certain situation. And it would flash and then it stop and then it would flash again, so that the flash might disturb the picture for a second, but as soon as the flash stopped, you'd see the picture again. But what would happen is the person that was a threat, if it was facing the camera, the device, then basically they would be blinded just as we are whenever somebody flashes a flash in our face.
Mhm.
It's a disorientation thing. It also makes it hard to aim, hard to shoot. They might start shooting randomly because they can't see, but that gives the person with the unit a chance to get out of the way. The second thing it would do is blast out a sound type situation, a foghorn type
Mhm.
process, to where the person would now be disoriented by sound. They couldn't hear whether somebody was moving to the left, to the right, somebody was coming up from behind, because that would do it. And once again, we're not talking about destroying the ears. We're just trying to distract and make the person unable to see what they're trying to shoot at or know what direction they should go in. So those devices, the camera, the flash, and the sound, allows the person with the unit the ability to protect themselves, possibly other people, and communicate to everybody exactly what's going on and where it's at.
Yes. I love this.
Now, with that said, let's say that you're in a school situation. Let's say that every teacher has one of these. Let's say every staff member, every janitor has one of these devices. Janitor sees somebody coming through the door with a gun. They can immediately turn on their device. It starts, this is somebody that might be of a problem. And then when that starts off, people will notice the flash, hear the sound, and they'll be able to go toward it and use their device to give another angle on the situation. And all of a sudden you have 3 or 4 people, you'll totally disorient the person with the gun or whatever device they have that's dangerous,
Mhm.
and you're not killing anybody.
You also wouldn't be using your cell phone that can be taken by the police out of your hands.
Well, that's
or whoever is aggressing.
one of the things that would be nice is if the device could have a extension wand on it and a screen like you have on cameras that could be on the back of it, where if you duck behind a couch or a corner or a door, you could stick it out at the corner at the bottom to where it's still doing the flash, still doing the sound,
Without
and still
risking-
taking the picture,
Oh,
but you're not in
you're
in
not
the
risking
line of
yourself.
shot.
Yeah.
And if you, once again, have 2 or 3 people or 4 or 5 people
Yeah.
or 30 people all doing it at the same time,
Yeah.
the person who's doing it is going to be recognized.
Mhm.
They're going to know immediately where they're at, and the people that are around can film which direction they go in, which would allow the authorities the ability to get there. And then they would be able to capture him without having to kill him themselves, because they could follow him. They don't have to immediately detect. You could have drones. They have their own cops device
Mhm.
taking pictures of it, and they could do flashing if it was appropriate or not do flashing. anything to disorient the person to a point where they give up and they realize there's nothing they can do that's going to be beneficial to them and they're going to get away with it because they're not going to get away with it. And yes, sometimes these people are trying to commit suicide, but if they know they're not going to commit suicide, they're going to get caught. That takes away that particular situation.
Yeah.
So to me, the community organized protection system is a way that we could do the one thing we have to do: destroy all projectile weapons.
Yes.
I don't care if they're a pistol, a rifle, a shotgun. You can have possibly some kind of device if you're trying to call a herd of deer or get rid of the mountain lion that's got rabies or whatever. There are ways they can do that not every individual has to have a weapon that kills whatever it sees. They can come up with other ways to do it. We need the armies to not have weapons. And the way you do that is you make the person responsible for making the decision to use those weapons personally responsible.
Yes.
So if a president or of a dictator or a leader says, I'm going to drop a bomb on this silo and destroy the nuclear potential of that place, if there's 2 janitors in there, that's collateral damage. That's murder.
Yes.
There's no way you should allow that to be done. Now, there has to be a world court ultimately to decide what can and can't be done. And if, in fact, the world court decides that somebody has created a situation where they are a danger to society, society should have the right to self-defense. Now, does that mean killing the person? That's for society to decide, not me.
Yeah.
But they should not be collateral damage. If they're going to be killed because of society needs self-defense, that's up for society to decide. If there's something they can do with them that makes them not possible to hurt anybody else, I'm with that too. Let society decide that. But don't make me judge, jury, and executioner.